Hey there, funnel builders. How are you doing? Today, I want to do something slightly differently. I basically want to go over the marketing and sales strategy that I used to be able to earn $100,000 in 3 months, more like £100,000 in 3 months, so it's slightly more than that. This, for some of you, you'll be like, that's not a lot of money. 100% agree. But the interesting part that I want you to take away is how I basically only worked 3 months. This gets more specific. Out of the whole of 2021, I worked from February through to April. We took January off. And then I didn't work again until basically December of 2021. So most of you will know this, but in April, I was diagnosed with cancer. And a subsequent problem with that meant that I had kidney surgery as well. And I basically went into hospital while my kidney was rupturing. And they were like, hey, Mr. Killen, thanks so much for coming in. By the way, you've also got cancer, as my kidney was exploding. And I was like, all right, okay, great. The difficult part is that even if I wanted to work, I couldn't have. The amount of drugs that I was on, as in like painkillers, and the amount of surgeries I had, my abdomen is now covered in scars from having 4 rounds of surgery. I then had chemotherapy, and I am extremely grateful in a funny way to have gone through all of that because it showed me the value of things that really matter. And I'm also extremely grateful to everyone who is watching this, who knew me back then, last year, only a few months ago, and supported me and sent me kind messages and just was there for me. So overall, I am extremely lucky. So it begs the question, and this is the number one thing that I think people ask me when I tell them this is, well, as a business owner, were you not worried about losing revenue? And yeah, my biggest concern as I was lay there in the hospital ward with the bed with IV drips coming out of my arm was, how am I going to pay the bills, right? How am I going to pay my staff? How am I going to pay my business overheads? How am I going to keep paying the mortgage? None of this stuff goes away. And I was like, well, in that case, we need to put in plan a place so that the business continues to earn money, even though I'm nowhere near it. The best leaders in the world have a really funny way of looking at things. And Jim Collins talks about this in his book, Good to Great. And there's a few other books that talk about this principle, how anyone who is successful will gladly attribute everything they've done to luck. And then when they've made a bad mistake, they'll look inwards and say, what did I do wrong? How did I lead my team wrong? Lousy leaders will say, every decision I made is great. That's why we've had good results. And whenever anything bad happens, they'll look to the external market or to their team and go, that's because other people made mistakes. I can, without question, wholeheartedly say that my ability to earn money while I was taking 9 months off was exclusively down to my team. I have been and still am extremely lucky with the people that I have hired, with the people that want to work with me, with the customers that I have, with you guys, my audience. I have won the lottery when it comes to my working situation. I have a wife who was like, you absolutely should not work. And she was glad to be able to, we will do whatever we need to do. She took time off work to look after me. She went through some shit the day before I was going in for chemotherapy with her jobs. This is a really important point. My ability to earn through this is luck. Anytime anything would have gone wrong, if I had to take time off in April and then come back in December, this gap here, if I hadn't earned any money, that is exclusively my fault. So if it had gone badly, if I hadn't earned anything, I'm happy to say that is absolutely my fault. The fact that I was able to earn money is down to two things: my team and an outstanding amount of luck. Right? The reason this is important for me to talk about is because a lot of people have said to me, you've set up your business in a way that allowed you to make money. And I will talk about that in a minute. It's actually more simple than you might think. But I want you to know that the truth of the matter is it was down to other people and it was down to luck. I'm just glad that I happened to set up the business in the right way. And it just so happened to work out in the right way. And I just happened to be lucky that my business model suited the situation that I was in. There is no amount of outstanding leadership or special growth hacks that will take you to where you need to go. And we're already on track to have our best year ever because I've managed to come back. But it's only because I had managed to learn and had a team that was so outstanding throughout this period where I was forced to not be able to work. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't have. Where I had Kate, we had Clarence, got Jar now. And Chelsea, you joined a little bit afterwards, but you are accelerating this, I want to add. You are accelerating this growth, Chelsea. If anything, I consider myself even more lucky that I've managed to find someone else who's equally as capable, right, and dedicated. There was a few things I noticed. One, I am the biggest roadblock to my own business. I had a lot of people say, well, you set up the business in this way. It's just luck that it worked out that I set up the business in a way that managed to do this. That you could follow the exact same model as me and it not go well. However, if it hadn't gone well, if I hadn't earned anything, I would have to look at myself and say that was my fault. So the first thing was to understand that I was the biggest roadblock. If all the decisions come through me, if all the work goes through me, if all the sales and marketing goes through me, of course it's going to be me as a roadblock. I have to, on the scale of freedom to control, freedom being over here, and control being over here, I had to move the slider back down to freedom. I had to relinquish control. I took Kate on as a coach. And I remember texting her, I was like, I can't do the call this week. And even that is naive because I should have said, I can't do the calls for the next 9 months. And I thought, well, I haven't invested enough time in training Kate. But Kate turned around to me and said, we got this, man. We got this. Don't worry about it. And I remember turning to my wife, Olivia, and saying, I think I've just made myself redundant from my own business. Now, is that an outstanding leadership strategy or some stroke of brilliance? Of course it's not. It's luck that I found Kate. It's luck that Kate did the program with us. It's luck that Kate is smart enough and capable enough to go through that program. Team and luck is how we managed to do this. And yeah, we unfortunately lost someone, Elena, who, still friends with. She's a great person, good business leader. But she left during that period. Nothing against that. That's bad luck. Great team member, bad luck. She left. But was it my decision and my poor planning and leadership that caused her to leave? Almost certainly. Almost certainly. And I have to accept 100% responsibility. What I'm trying to say is, if I've managed to do this and you're looking for some magic hack that will show you how to do it, you're going to have to accept that it is going to come down to the team you hire and the luck you have. And if things go wrong, it's your fault. You have to take responsibility for the faults, and you cannot take responsibility or credit for the things that go well. The second thing, this is a bit more tactical, is we ran campaigns that worked. A few days ago, I did a video on my launch funnel, the PLF, the Jeff Walker style product launch funnel. That was a campaign that had worked previously twice. And I was like, hell, let's do that. And so I said to my team, I need you to hit go on this particular campaign, and everything else subsequently was done. Previously, I'd have been like, look, we need to keep income coming into the business. Oh, another thing, by the way, with the luck aspect is not just the team, but the customers we have, you guys, the audience. I'm lucky to work with such talented people. Such forgiving people, such hardworking and dedicated people, people who do take responsibility for their own actions. If I was working with lousy people who were, didn't spend money on their own businesses or didn't invest, then yeah, of course I'd be annoyed, but that would be my mistake. But the fact that we happen to put the right product in the right campaign and send it to the right group of people, that is ultimately luck. And it was my team who pulled the work together of lead generation, having conversations, supporting people, onboarding them, and then delivering them. Everyone played their role. It got to the point where Jar was sending me reports once a week. Now it's once a month, saying, this is how much money we've made. These who our top customers are. I was like, this is incredible. I can't take responsibility for the success that I had, essentially. But we ran campaigns that worked and we repeated them. There is a weird thing in marketing where you have to find novel new stuff all the time. I know that this campaign worked. We hit send, it made more money the second time. We hit send again a few months later, it made even more money the third time. So we ran stuff that worked. I didn't insist on creating new campaigns every time. And that massively reduced the workload. And it meant that my team could get on and do the work that they needed to do. And the third thing is we cut back, cut down, and focused. I knew I couldn't deliver all the stuff that I wanted to do. The new book that I wanted to create, Sell Futures, Not Features, it's pretty much written now and we're editing it and going, you know, whatever. We've got the new audio book for 5-figure funnels coming out, recorded by my friend Robert Plank. But we had to cut down. I had to go, let's get deep into things rather than trying to do too much. This is not the time for growth. This is the time to expand. And yet, through that specificity and that mindset of being happy to not grow, we actually grew considerably. And I was able to take home over 100,000 through not having to do any work for 9 months. Run what works, cut back, cut down, and focus, and understand that you are the roadblock. If you want to scale your revenue, doesn't matter what platforms and systems you use, that's what you got to do. I didn't have the choice. I was just lucky that this happened to me. This is why I think it's one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. Is because it was lucky that biology, chemistry, the universe went, you're going to have to take 9 months off. Even if you wanted to work, you couldn't. I couldn't hold a conversation for more than 10 minutes. Olivia would find me just constant sleeping. And yet I had the good fortune to work with a team who understood what we wanted to do, but because we were focused, because we were specific. And I will be forever grateful to them. And of course, my wife for allowing me to go through that journey. And now I wouldn't change anything for the world. I would only want to keep the methodologies that I have learned through a period where I couldn't work to continue growing the business. Guys, I hope that was useful. I know that was very, very different to what my current videos on building funnels. You can actually get the campaign that made me 100 grand. Go to gohighlevel.com/Mike-Killen and you can get that campaign. It's the Apex campaign, segmentation campaign, and engagement campaign that basically allowed us to continually run that campaign and make a ton of money without us having to do anything. And we've gone even further down. People are on 4-day weeks now. So it's got nothing to do with the amount of time. And I just wanted to share that with you. Thanks very much for watching. In the meantime, I'll see you on another video. Have courage, commit, and take action. Bye, guys.